Thank you very much for coming this morning, everyone. I'm State Representative Dan Brady, and I'm joined here today by my colleagues, Representative Tim Butler, Representative Mike Murphy, and Representative Tom Bennett. Representative Avery Bourne, who is a member of the Property Task Force Committee, was not able to join us this morning. But we were all members of the Property Task Force Committee, and this is the third in three press conferences, one that occurred in Chicago, and then one that occurred in Rockford, and one now obviously in Springfield and Central, and trying to talk about downstate Illinois, because of the fact that we felt it was important to reach every sector of Illinois, of the people of Illinois, to talk about what our concerns have been and continue to be in regards to the Property Task Force, Relief Task Force. We wanted to talk about our shared disappointment in the task force and the process and the results, and our commitment of what we've worked towards to the state. And when it comes to property tax, this crisis that is occurring in the state of Illinois. I, like my colleagues here today, were hopeful when the Property Tax Relief Task Force was created. We were going to create a working group that was going to, in a bipartisan fashion, work together for the people of Illinois on this crushing property tax burden that's driving families out of the state of Illinois, from their homes and obviously from across the state. Unfortunately, the task force, through Senate Bill, which is Senate Bill 1932, is just one more example of the Democrat-created Blue Ribbon Commission that has failed. Rather than bringing forward substantive changes and suggestions that would provide relief, the Democrats' so-called reforms focused on expanding the sales tax base to raise even more money without promising to reduce the property tax burden. And even our Governor Pritzker, said that was a bad idea recently, just last week in a Chicago Tribune interview. My Republican colleagues and I brought ideas to the table that would have eased families' property tax burdens. Almost all of our ideas were dismissed by Democrats who controlled the task force. Our request to call the full task force together prior to the final deadline so we could have an opportunity to debate and consider the initiatives that were brought forward was denied. I think, as well as my colleagues here and others, that Illinois families deserve better. As we close, let's take a look at Illinois' history of failure with property tax relief task forces. All have failed to produce results, and this latest task force is just one more example of the controlling party failure to deliver real solutions to the state's most pressing issues. Our state's history of failed task forces is long, going all the way back to 1975, when lawmakers approved Senate Joint Resolution 10 and 8 more failed task forces. 1982, the Tax Reform Commission. In 1995, the Equity 95 Property Tax Classification Task Force. In 1997, the Electric Utility Property Task Force. In 1998, the Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission on Property Taxes. In House Resolution 527, which instructed the House of Representatives Revenue and Finance Committee to conduct an investigation into ways to improve property tax assessment practices across the state. In 2009, the Property Tax Reform and Relief Task Force. This one sounds very familiar, doesn't it? In 2018, the TIF Reform Task Force. And the 2019 Property Tax Relief Task Force now joins the list of squandered opportunities to address one of Illinois' most pressing problems, the property tax in the state of Illinois, driving people out of the state of Illinois. Through all of this, has anyone seen a legitimate drop in their property taxes? And we all know the answer to that. The answer is no. As I said, the people of Illinois deserve better, and we pledge our support to try and do that, to work together in a bipartisan fashion to come up with real sustainable property tax relief in the state of Illinois. It can be done.